So I'm just going to cut straight to the chase. The simple truth is that we, the people, have been hating on and complaining about our governments for years. But when it comes down to it, we've never actually done anything but complain, really. Most people vote for the same 2, maybe 3 parties every time, and things continue to veer away from the best interests of the people in favour of the best interests of our governments. It's become almost standard to accept and complain about being lied to by our leaders. But you know what? The political elites aren't worried, because they see it as nothing more than harmless grumbling from a bunch of faceless fools. They think we're fools, you know. They don't care if we think they're doing a good job at representing us, because they don't consider themselves our representatives. But think about this. What if we don't actually have to have politicians we hate? Okay, so I'll be blunt. The politicians we have now have largely turned out to be nothing more than 2-bit whores, doing anything for power and money. They're leeches, and they'll suck up to you when they want your vote, but they don't want to know you when it's not an election year. They're not here for you or us. They're here for the prestige and the power, and of course the money that comes with both of those things. But now, we're in the middle of what could be the biggest political shift in the history of our country. And it's time for the people of Australia to get up onto our feet and come together as one for the sake of our country and our children. Because politics today, at this very moment in time, it's no longer about left versus right. It's now about the bottom taking on the top. And that's what's happening around the world and here in Australia as we speak. So I'm a solid conservative and I believe in traditional values. And like many of you, no doubt, I've been increasingly disturbed by the turns our society has been making over the last few decades, thanks to these elites and the bureaucrats and their harmful narrative. It's been slow, but our values and norms are being eroded. But in their lust for more power and control over the people, when the pandemic struck, the current governments of this country and many other countries became overzealous, and they exposed themselves a little too much too fast. Through 2020 and 2021, I think that a real darkness has risen in the world, and we've suffered inexplicable pain and suffering thanks to crippling lockdowns and devastating separation of families, sickeningly brought about by our own governments. But in contrast to that darkness, the light has been rising too. Slow at first, yes, but faster and brighter as the time has gone on. New communities have formed, and goodness, kindness, hope, and most of all strength has punched through. And Australians across the country are now loudly and fiercely saying, enough. An organic grassroots movement of the people has emerged, one that's pushing back against the corrupt, power-hungry, self-ordained elites. The lions and dragons are no longer sleeping. We're awake. And you better believe we're taking back what's ours. So in the upcoming Australian federal election of 2022, we need to make a choice. And for most of us, it's a total no-brainer. Do we want to continue down our long-standing path of poor representation, big government, and destruction of our families, our privacy, our businesses, and our economy? Or will we step onto the path that we choose? The path that creates a return to prosperity and unity, and where the people decide what the government can do, not where the government decides what the people can do. This is the path that ensures that they can never do this to us again. This election will be pivotal for our country as Australians rise to take back our freedom, our liberty, our privacy, and our happiness. The United Australia Party is the party made by the people for the people, and its candidates and members are the people. With a membership of nearly 100,000 in just a few months, and thousands of people earnestly putting up their hand to run as a candidate for this party around the country, as I did, it's clear that Aussies are ready. We are the future of Australia. This is real, and this is a revolution that's happening. We must never forget what they've done. We will win this fight just so long as we keep fighting, because this upcoming election is only the beginning, and we will expose them all. So vote one United Australia Party wherever in Australia you are. And let's eject the pretenders and return the people to our parliament, because it belongs to us. My name is Rebekah Spelman, and I'm the United Australia Party candidate for the seat of Aston in Melbourne's East. And just like you, I've had enough of the lies, the theft, and the blatant abuse of our human rights. I will do everything that I can to fight for us and return our institutions to the control of the Australian people. So please vote for me. And while you're at it, make sure to put Labor, Liberals, and the Greens last on your ballot when the time comes. It's the most important thing. And Australia, we've got this.
Authorised by Rebekah Spelman for the United Australia Party, Brisbane.